going on?
Hey, what's up, Egg?
Happy Thursday.
Same to you. Same to you.
Yeah, this is
Pre-Valentine's Day Thursday.
pre-Valentine's Day Thursday.
This just not like the dead period of everything. Like,
Yeah,
it's cold.
I know.
Baseball hasn't started. The NBA's in that, like, you know, everyone's kind of taking a day off here and there.
The All-Star game's this weekend.
It is, yeah.
It's weird to me because the NHL, for their All-Star game, they take like 2 weeks off.
Yeah, yep.
The NBA, I think there are a couple games tonight.
I think they start up next Thursday,
Wednesday?
Wednesday?
Oh, do they have
yeah.
next Wednesday or Thursday? Okay. Lot to cover. We recorded a podcast last week. My microphone was the
little
only
technical difficulty.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when I throw this one up there on the website. I'll put that one on too, so people can just listen to me have a conversation with myself.
Got a little cocky. We didn't take backup efforts.
I always do that. I was feeling too comfortable with the mics. So there's some notes though from last week that I wanted to cover, some specific items, and then obviously there's some new things that have happened in the last week. I thought we had some awesome some conversations pre-Super Bowl.
Yep.
Some predictions, what our thoughts were. But the game happened on Sunday.
Correct.
I was telling everybody I wasn't going to watch it.
Yep.
I didn't miss a minute of it.
Yep.
A second of it. And I thought it was entertaining. A couple people came to me and, or I had conversations and they said how dull it was. What was your take, I guess, on the game? Were you entertained? Were you paying attention?
Yeah, I was paying attention. I was entertained. But it was a different type of entertaining. It wasn't like, shotgun throwing the ball down the field.
Denver's defense was unreal.
You know what kept me entertained was just, you look back now, and we talk about this all the time. You look back now, and it was a really tight game, but the Panthers really weren't in it. Like, I always thought the Panthers were in it, but then you're looking back, you're like, they really weren't.
Yeah.
So that kind of kept me hooked a little bit. Honestly, for whatever reason, I don't think I watched more than, like, maybe a game and a half of the Panthers combined. Like, I can't sit here and think of one game that I watched them. So when the game started and all the hype, I guess what got me going was...
The hype about what? The Panthers?
Just the game, the Panthers. I was like, I want to see this. Like, I want to watch this Panthers team. They're 17-1. They could go 18-1 on the year. Yeah. And I was excited to see what everyone was talking about, and it just wasn't there. Actually, their defense was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
and it wasn't for a lack of effort, unless you're a quarterback not going for a fumble. But you know, it wasn't there. They're just,
I feel like you're gonna have a really good take on that. So let's jump into it right away.
Sure.
The whole Cam Newton thing, right? Because it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. We were exchanging some texts during the game.
Yep.
And I think you started off by just saying something about how Cam Newton was, like he didn't look like he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I think you made a comment how he's playing like he's going to be there.
So the vibe I got was, look, things weren't going his way, obviously. Things weren't going his way, and they weren't, boom, 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 boom down the field.
Von Miller hit where he ripped the ball out.
How can you get strip sacked from the front?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
And just as the game went on, I kind of like looked at him and I was like, he's sitting there thinking, you know what? Didn't go my way this time. We'll be back here or whatever. Yeah. And it's not. Now, look, he might. And, if you take the two teams, the Panthers probably have a better chance because half of the Broncos are free agents. Yeah. It's just not that easy. And I was very disappointed with his, whether you like the dabbing and the Superman and all that stuff, that team thrives off that stuff.
You know what I noticed was...
They thrive off of Cam's swagger.
You think so?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Right or wrong, and I personally, I don't care, and...
I thought it was very interesting. They score a touchdown.
Yep.
And they were at the 1 or 2 yard line, right? I think it was after the face mask by our friend Talib.
Yep.
Or Talib. I always screw his name up.
I think it's Aqib Talib.
Aqib Talib.
Yeah.
Okay, it's simple enough. Which, by the way, was a very dangerous play.
I was actually reading that they might suspend him a game for it.
He admitted he did it on purpose. So, Aqib Talib does the face mask out of bounds, 15-yard penalty, but they're at like the 3 yard line anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, Cam Newton, QB rush.
Yep.
Play action rollout, pass, something.
Yep.
and he hands it off to Jonathan Stewart. And you can't tell me deep down inside that he was hoping that Stewart didn't get in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's been practicing this dance all week. He
Got
knows
his
what he
dab
wants
ready.
to do.
He knows who he wants to give the ball to.
Yeah, and you watch that play again. He hands it off. Stewart jumps in. I like Stewart's TD celebration. He did like a patty cake thing.
Yep.
But you watch the play again, and Newton's walking towards
the
sideline.
Yeah.
He doesn't run in. It's the Super Bowl. Doesn't run in. Butt heads. Doesn't pump. Doesn't even give a fist pump.
Yeah.
He just walks back to the sideline, and
Yeah.
I could, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that guy. He's upset because he didn't score and he didn't get to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because he's been working on his dance. And, I have mixed feelings on Cam Newton. And I got to say, what were your thoughts on the play at the end of the game where it was a fumble? He fumbled.
Yep, absolutely.
He had a chance to dive and recover.
You don't know if you're going to get it. Like everyone says he's going to get it.
He had a chance to try.
Yeah.
And you can see him go.
Yep.
And it almost looks like out of the corner of his eye. He said his leg was in a weird spot, but out of the corner of his eye, another guy comes flying in. I don't remember if it was from the Panthers or the Broncos. But anyways, Newton decides to hold up.
Back up. Yep.
It's Super Bowl. You're down by 6 points.
You recover that. I mean, granted, it's probably 3rd and 25. With that stout defense.
But you punt.
You can flip the field.
He doesn't lay out.
Yeah.
He doesn't go for it. Do I understand what he said, how his leg was in a weird position?
Yes.
Yeah, fine, I get it. But it's the Super Bowl. And like you said earlier.
There's no game after it. If you get, God forbid you get hurt, you have the whole offseason to,
And nowadays, you blow your knee out, you miss 3 months, and you're back. Less well for it. So that happened. You and I exchanged a couple more texts, and I said I'm really curious to see how he handles himself.
Yep.
After the game.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do when the game's over?
Yep.
Is he gonna shake people's hands, run into the locker room? And then I was really interested to see what was going to happen in the post-game presser.
Correct.
And I thought he didn't disappoint one bit from.
Well, to be fair, he did go and shake Peyton's hand, and I mean, Peyton might just be nice, but he said he was very cordial, nice, whatever. Look, I've heard people talk about the post-game press conference. Oh, they shouldn't have guys talk right after games. Should he not? That is your job description. As a quarterback in the NFL, they're going to throw a mic in your face. Guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, they've all lost in the Super Bowl. I think I texted you this, and I've texted the worst people in the world are guys that can dish it out but can't take it.
Yep.
Like, if you're going to be that guy to dish it out, fine. Just be able to take it. And he was, he did look like he looked like a baby at the press conference.
So he comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday, meets with the media in the locker room, and he basically says, I'm a sore loser.
Yep.
I never said I wasn't a sore loser.
Yeah.
And he said, I think his quote was, show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser.
Yes.
So here I am thinking, this kid has, this man, I guess, has had 2 days to think about it.
Yep.
And
then he sticks to his guns.
Sticks to his guns, and I can't put into words. I can't put it into words how I want to about how I felt about his locker room press conference 2 days later, and I can't tell you why I don't like what he did, but it just
irritates you.
It's you make a lot of money, you're talented, but that bothers me, and maybe it's because we're so used to the way the Patriots handle themselves, more specifically Brady.
Yep.
Even after a loss, he seems to say the right things, and I don't know. I guess it doesn't make what Newton did or said any worse.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, it doesn't make it wrong. I just didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way, and like a part of me, I'm not gonna. You're not guaranteed to get back there, like you said, and I just think you should be more humbled and more grateful in defeat, and it's okay to lose.
Yeah.
I guess is my point. Like, I'm not going to raise Luke and say if you don't win every time,
Well, it's okay to say, hey, they just beat us. I mean, and what you kind of did, but like, again, it goes back to if you're gonna be that guy, that's gonna tell everyone how great you are, when you're not great, you have to be able to take it.
Wearing gold cleats.
Gold
warm-ups,
cleats that say
MVP.
MVP.
Had his stats on them.
Yeah. Look, if you don't like the job description, then don't do it. Yeah, they're gonna throw a microphone in your face after every game.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're gonna have to answer more questions than the center. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah, you're a quarterback.
You're a quarterback, and when you guys win, when you win strictly on defense, then you get more credit than you deserve,
Yeah.
like a Peyton Manning.
I saw a good quote on Peyton Manning, how him winning the Super Bowl was the equivalent of being in a group for a school.
Yeah.
And the group gets an A on an assignment, but you really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You were that one guy that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say I don't think he did anything. He no touch. He convert. My dad actually brought it up to me. His last pass was a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
So he threw a pass that was caught in the end zone.
Someone, I don't remember who said it, but someone said as bad as Newton was, he was better than Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Neither of them
were great.
Yeah.
I mean, that interception Manning threw, like he just threw it to the wrong team. Legitimately just threw it to the wrong team.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
So he didn't retire right after the game.
Yep.
And at first, I thought, my first thought was he's going to retire.
Yep.
He has to. He'd be crazy, I think, if he doesn't retire.
Yeah.
He had a terrible year statistically. He won a championship.
Yep.
Right off into the sunset, my man. Just go away.
See, the problem is if he comes back, it's not going to be with the Broncos, so it's probably not going to be with a great defense, and you're just not going to look as good.
Well,
they made him look good.
Well, what if they decide? What if they work it out where he does come back, and they keep their defense intact? Because then you're looking at that team with a really strong defense, and you don't need gunslinger Peyton Manning.
No. That's the only way it would work.
You could win games with him throwing 190 yards,
Yep.
a touchdown, and 2 picks.
Yeah.
Or no touchdowns, no picks. Decent running game, short passes here and there.
Yeah.
Ride your defense all the way out through. Although I kind of feel like riding your defense in football is like relying on your bullpen in baseball. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it goes back to one of the problems is they have so many free agents, and
so
they've
who's
got
a free? Von Miller's
a free agent.
Marcus
Malik
Ware?
Jackson's a free agent.
So they can't sign them all.
They can't sign them all. And Von Miller, they asked him about it. You thought he was going to give the typical love it in Denver, and he goes like, "Yeah, I like it here, but money talks." And you're like, oh, "Okay,
Yeah,
you're going to Jacksonville for $100 million."
yeah. I don't know. I guess. So my thought was Peyton didn't retire after the Super Bowl because he wants to set it up and get all the attention to himself.
Yep.
And have a press conference and have it sponsored and do it. Have Papa John there, and then actually my dad again had hot sport takes.
Yeah.
The other night, he said he didn't want to steal the spotlight from his teammates.
Yeah.
Which I kind of was like, well, I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You just won a Super Bowl. It's a team effort. You really kind of didn't have anything to do with it.
Yep.
And you wanted it to be about, and looking back and seeing how Peyton handled it on field. And then at the podium, on field right after the game, and then on field at the podium.
Yeah,
I thought he handled it pretty well, and I don't know. If I was him, I'd retire, but I have a weird feeling that he might not want to go.
I think he's going to retire. I don't really blame him for waiting. I just don't see the reason to come back. To be honest with you,
yeah,
you're now in the group of quarterbacks that have won 2 Super Bowls. Everyone remembers you winning your last game in the Super Bowl. Call it quits.
Pre-game, they honored all the living Super Bowl MVPs.
Yep.
I thought it was kind of funny. They went in order, and they're actually a lot more alive than I thought.
Yeah.
But
I don't think any of them are dead, are they?
were they?
No, I don't think.
No, maybe not.
A couple of them were at home. Couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. A couple from like the first Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny though because they come out on the field and you could see like the first few
Yeah.
did what they were supposed to and
Yeah.
walk
And
onto
then,
the dot.
then there was a guy there saying, "Let's
yeah,
go."
get
Yeah.
the dot. And then a bunch just
Yeah, yeah.
beelined it right for the freaking thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I really don't. To be honest with you, I don't care.
Yeah.
But Brady got booed.
heavily.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any take? I think Kraft came out and gave his opinion on that. I didn't read what it was today, but do you have an opinion? Do you care? Does it bother
It doesn't
you?
bother me a ton.
Yeah.
I
The
just-
way I look at you, pay a lot of money for that ticket.
Yeah.
If you want to boo a guy,
Well, I mean,
frickin'
it's just
throw something at him.
Yeah, it was also a heavy. The Broncos were playing,
Yeah.
so there's no Patriots fans in this. No, it didn't. I mean,
And he beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl before.
yeah, he beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. So no, I don't. I just think it's more of a sign of respect.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
I thought he looked like a clown a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the sunglasses were a little much.
He's got like a, I don't know. Something about Brady, man. I'm telling you, we talked about this a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
I just think shit's gonna hit the fan with him.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just think he's gonna come out. He'll endorse Trump.
Yep.
He'll say something.
Trump was on the other day and said he told Brady not to endorse him.
Yeah. I just watch, man. This guy, like, it's gonna be like a Tim Thomas, Kurt Schilling thing. I'm telling you, it always happens. Like Boston sports athletes, like in our generation, that have left
Forgot
on
about
good
Tim
terms.
Thomas.
On good terms, like Paul Pierce, KG. Some people even bitter over the way they left.
Yeah.
I just don't. Even Big Papi, people are looking for ways to just hate that guy.
Yeah.
And he's got to get out soon, or else I think he's getting out at the right time.
Yeah.
But I just have this feeling that something's going to happen with Brady, and yeah, I don't know. And the other thing I was thinking too, so Brady's a very competitive guy, right?
Yep.
And whether he wants to admit it or not, maybe he did admit it, but Peyton Manning's a friend.
Yep.
They talk, but he also, I think he came out and said it's a competition. He doesn't really want him to win another Super Bowl. He said something along those lines.
He said something like, "I want to see him win, but if he does win, I'll be very jealous of him."
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not him.
Just because he wants to win another one.
Well,
Yeah.
Peyton's now done something that Brady hasn't. He's won a Super Bowl with 2 teams.
Yeah. Yep.
So I got to thinking, and then I just the Belichick Brady aspect, and you throw Kraft or the Krafts into it, and I'm telling you, you got a team going out to L.A. now. You got the 49ers. Something's gonna happen.
You're really stretching now.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying like this off season.
Yeah.
But if Brady wants to play till he's 45,
Yep.
and at 42, he throws for 20 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
Yep.
If Belichick's still around, I think he'll pull the cord.
Really?
And I don't think Brady will be one of those guys that will go quietly into the night.
Yeah.
I think he'll come back like a Brett Favre wants to shove it to the Packers.
Yeah.
And I think he'll come, not to the Jets or in the division.
Yeah.
But I think he'll go out west. I think he'll go to San Fran. I think he'll go to L.A. And I think he'd want to prove to everybody that
he
could
can
do
still
it.
do it. Yeah.
And I think Brady would want to prove to everybody, would want to prove it more than Belichick would want to prove it. Like
Yeah.
Belichick, I think people believe in his coaching skills and his
Yeah.
abilities. That he got Matt Castle almost to the playoffs. Like
They won 11 games with Matt
11-5
Castle.
with
Yeah.
Matt Castle, and I think people are confident that if you put Bill Belichick on any team, they're gonna be
Yeah.
better. And
Yeah.
I don't know if people are truly convinced because you remember Tom Brady coming up when he was his first few years. He was we used to in college with the Hackneys. We used to always argue about he's a system guy.
Yeah.
You take him out of that system.
And he won't succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's matured and learned how to play.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the case anymore, but I'm also curious. Like I think Belichick is more valuable.
Well,
than,
technically, Belichick has already done it in other like he's already won Super Bowls with the Giants. Now, obviously, as a coordinator, it's just different as a player, though. You know that winning with different teams and stuff.
Yeah, but I just thought that aspect was interesting. Did they ever come out and explain the Papa John kiss thing?
No, but that was so
Are they
corny.
are they like legit friends, or is that a sponsorship thing?
I would think they're legitimately friends.
Like, why is Papa John on the sideline? Like, it's so weird.
Peyton owns a bunch of Papa Johns. He doesn't just endorse them. He owns a bunch of them.
Football season's in the rearview mirror. Broncos are your champs.
Don't you feel like a big weight's lifted off you now that football is done?
Yeah. I thought the weight was lifted when the Pats lost.
Yeah, it just every day, every hour, it wears on you a little bit.
Yeah, so we are in that kind of dull spot for sports. Basketball, NBA. So it's going to be All-Star weekend.
Yep.
They're playing, is it Phoenix?
Toronto.
Toronto.
Couldn't be farther
Toronto.
from Phoenix.
Yes, not even close. So, I don't know why I said Phoenix. The Celtics they're still the 3rd seed.
Yep.
Last night, they welcomed Doc Rivers and Paul Pierce, the Clippers, to the Garden.
Yep.
They won in overtime, 139 to 134. You're texting me like I can't watch the game. And
I didn't realize that till the end.
I wish I could. I watched the highlights. I missed a good one. But the Celtics are all alone in the 3rd spot in the Eastern
They have
Conference.
like a game and a half too. It's not, and they're starting to separate. You know, everyone was saying, "Oh, that's just a muddle in the East." They're starting to separate themselves from the 9 seed. They're like 6-7 games up on the 9 seed.
And it's frustrating because they lost the game against Milwaukee the other night. Bradley made a bad foul.
Yeah.
And committed a poor foul. And, can you say, should they have probably won that game? Yeah, they probably should have won that game. You go back, I think they have 2 losses, the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, they're 10-2 in their last 12, and they lost that game to Milwaukee, and then they lost the game down in Orlando.
So I guess my point is there's a legitimate 3 or 4 games. Oh, they lost to the Lakers at home.
So remember, they back-to-back, they lost to the Lakers and the Nets at home. So take those. Now, they wouldn't be like they'd win like 14 in a row. There were some games in between. But you take those 4 games, rather than being 32 and 23, they're 36 and 19.
Right. So that's, I guess, my point is there are some games that you can look at and say they should have legitimately won those, and their record should be better. Now, okay, you lose a couple tough games. Does the team comes together?
Yeah.
They play harder. Now, you got to take into consideration all of that. But they're in the 3rd seed, which is.
And they were a little inconsistent at the beginning of the year. They did crazy stuff. Like I remember early, I think it was end of November, maybe it was middle of November. They go down to Orlando, get their doors blown off, and then on the second night of a back-to-back, go to Miami and win by 17 with everyone playing. Like Wade's playing, Bosh is playing. So they were pretty inconsistent to begin the year.
All-Star Weekend NBA. Also, the trade deadline's coming up. I think it's on the 18th of February.
Yep.
I want to say. Dwight Howard's name is obviously out there with the Rockets. Celtics are linked to Atlanta with Al Horford.
Yep.
Former Florida Gator. I think they won back-to-back
Yep, he was
national
on those teams with Joakim Noah.
Noah, a couple other guys too.
Yeah.
Anyways, wasn't the Mike Miller, was he on that team?
No, he was a little before.
He was a little before.
He was a Gator, though.
He was a Gator. Al Horford, nice little player. I think I heard that they wouldn't give up the Brooklyn pick.
Yep.
But they would give up Kelly Olynyk.
See, Kelly Olynyk's starting to grow on me.
I know. It's just you're at that point with the Celtics now where, okay, you add Al Horford.
You're going to give up something that you're like, God, I kind of liked him.
Yeah, right. Because that's where you're at with this team now.
Which is good.
But I guess you take Kelly Olynyk out of the mix and you put Al Horford in. What does that do? How much do they overtake?
Get that much better.
Do they overtake Toronto for the 2nd seed?
Maybe.
Really? Do they?
Most likely not. I should say.
I guess I'm just. I'm trying to look at this from all different angles, right?
Yeah.
As a player on the team, aren't you saying to yourself, we're the 3rd seed right now?
Yeah.
Unless there's something we don't know, like, what kind of message does that send to the team if you're gelling, things are going well, and you remove 1 or 2 people from that mix? And you've got as good of a guy as Al Horford might be.
Yep.
As good of a player as he might be, which I've read that he's above average human all around. But you still have to integrate him
into the system right away.
And get, without losing ground in the playoff seeding.
Yep.
And, if you add Al Horford right now, how much different will this year end? And why not maybe wait till the offseason? Besides the fact that they could trade him somewhere else.
I mean, one of the bigger bonuses is it weakens the Hawks, who are right at your
that's the other thing. I think the Hawks are what? They're the team behind.
They're the game behind the Celtics.
So if you're Atlanta, why would you move off Horford?
I read that they're looking to blow it up, and I'm like, you're right there. Yeah.
If any team's going to blow it up, it should be Chicago. They should start selling off pieces left and right.
Jimmy Butler's hurt for another. He's out 3 or 4 weeks.
Paul Gasol, I bet you.
Here's the Hawks. They won 60 games last year, and Horford was hurt most of the year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. I don't know if just everything kind of, sat in the right place. They've already lost more games than they did last year. So.
I don't know. It's just the NBA is weird, too, with trades because you can't trade, like, the salaries.
You've got to match the salaries up. You can't just trade this guy for 2 prospects or something. Yeah. The salaries have to match.
And then I heard another, obviously, the Kings are starting to. I'll go on record to say I do not want DeMarcus Cousins in Boston.
Okay.
I would rather have Al Horford in Boston than DeMarcus Cousins. I'm sorry, I just would. I think that guy, as good as Brad Stevens is, I don't think he could fix him. And he could fix him for 2 or 3 games, but he's going to have those outbursts.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, what is this dude thinking?
Yeah.
And but I read a rumor, Brooklyn pick Evan Turner, David Lee, send them out to Sacramento. The NBA is weird too. Remember a few years, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When the Hawks, remember the trade the Celtics and the Hawks made?
For
Gary Payton from the Celtics to the Hawks for Antoine Walker.
Yeah.
And Gary Payton never even showed up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And a week later, he was on the Celtics. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And I think the NBA's fixed that, but you used to be able to trade a player, that team would release him right away.
And then you could re-sign him.
And you could re-sign him, which is nuts. But like Austin Rivers, last year, was traded to the Celtics.
Yep.
And he never even suited up. Nate Robinson was traded to the Celtics last year.
You know what?
Never even showed up to Boston.
The whole sign and trade thing, I get it, and I understand why you do it because the team that the player is on now you can offer him the most money, so you just give him the most money and then trade him.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of cheating though.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the other team that you're trading him to has to have the cap space in order to do it. It's just weird. The NBA's cap is just like geometry. Yeah.
You literally need.
You need like a
one person dedicated to hey,
the salary
we're thinking about doing this trade.
Yep.
Almost like the ESPN trade machine.
Yeah.
But you need like a live human to bounce ideas off of. Just jumping back kind of to last night's game, Celtics-Clippers, Paul Pierce after the game said it's year to year. Doesn't know if this is it or not. But it could very well be his last trip to the Garden. He's chasing a ring.
Yep.
Right? What's your take on athletes in his position towards the end of their career chasing that ring? Do you have a problem with that, or do you think they deserve it? What's your take on that?
No, I think for him it's a little easier because he already has one. It's not like he's chasing the ring. He already has a ring. Yeah,
like a Ray Bork sending him out to what was it?
Well, that was different because he hadn't won a ring yet.
But so it's more. It's easier to,
Yeah, he wants to play. He wants to play on better teams.
So you don't have a problem, because we've talked about this before. He spent 15 seasons in Boston. Yep. The last we went from Boston to Brooklyn to Washington to now L.A.
Yeah.
So what's that? 4 teams.
4 teams in 4 years. Yeah.
And I hate to see a decent player who, I think he'll be an NBA Hall of Famer one day.
Absolutely.
But I hate to see guys do that, and I don't know if it tarnishes their like record or history. He played for the Wizards. You know what I mean?
And they were a lot better with him than without him.
Yeah. With him.
I think for Paul, Los Angeles is home, so I'm sure he's a little closer to family.
Yeah.
I can't see him playing much longer. I think he fits in well with the Clippers, and I think he's kind of what they need. And I think Doc's done a really good job with that team. Yeah, I think Doc's done a really good job with that team, all things considered.
Did you catch the pregame introductions when they announced Paul Pierce?
Yes, I didn't catch it. I saw it on replay.
Were they stabbing him?
I don't. I read something that they thought they were, but I didn't see it. No.
The only reason why I think they might have been is because one of the players, as he was introduced, kind of hobbled past him,
Yeah.
like he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
Like probably
Oh yeah. Yeah.
to mock him for the finals.
Yep.
And then it almost looked like the players were like they attacked him and were fake stabbing him because Pierce got stabbed at a nightclub years ago.
2001 or so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope they weren't doing that because that's kind of
That'd be really
that's weird.
odd.
Yeah.
Who thinks of that?
I don't know.
And if you're Paul Pierce, how do you let them go through with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would like to think it was a dark time in his life.
NBA All-Star Game, are you excited for it?
Yeah, I like the NBA All-Star Game. I won't be able to watch the skills on Friday night or Saturday night.
No.
But I am taping it,
Okay.
hoping for the best.
So what they do? They still do the dunk contest,
Dunk,
3-point shootout.
3-point, and they like do a skills thing.
What's
now.
that called? Do you remember? Is it just called
It's skills challenge or something?
I really enjoy the rookie sophomore game.
Yes. Yep.
And they usually do that Friday night?
Yeah, they'll do it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I usually never catch it, but
I just thought it was cooler when they, and this is with all sports that do. I just thought it was cooler when everyone that participated in the skills night was an all-star.
Yeah.
But they can't do it anymore because no one wants to do it.
yeah. I also enjoyed when they wore their team jerseys.
Yeah, now they wear
They wear generic East-West
Yep.
one color, and I really liked it when you had all the teams wearing, away teams wearing their road uniforms and the home teams.
when the
wearing
Celtics
home
played the
whites.
Cavs last Friday. Both teams were wearing road jerseys, and I almost couldn't tell which team was which
Really?
because it was like the dark blue and the green.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was bad. I'm like I wouldn't be shocked if someone threw it to the wrong team.
That's crazy.
It was almost to the point where I'm like, how does the NBA let this happen?
Golden State Warriors are still on fire right now. I don't even know what their record is. Was it
48-4.
48-4? So they're ahead of the Bulls' pace to break the all-time wins record in one season.
Yeah.
You think they'll do it? So hold on, they're 48-4?
Yep.
So let's do some quick math. So they've played 52. No, it's easy. They've
Yeah.
played 52 games. There are 82 games in a season.
Yep.
So there are 30 games left. So they
have
can
to
only
go-
lose 5 games. So they have to go 25-5.
Yeah, they can do that.
You think so?
Yeah.
They still have to play the Spurs a couple more times. I sat down to watch the Thunder game last Saturday.
Yep.
What a dud.
Yeah, I know.
It was close for like 2 minutes, and then I was like, all right, in like 2 minutes, the Warriors went up by 20 points. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, and Oklahoma City's the 3rd seed in the Western Conference.
and it's one of those where you're like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man. Warriors are entertaining as heck to watch, huh?
They they can really score.
Yeah, they can
They're
score.
blowing teams out with giving up 110 points because they're putting up 125 to 130.
That's insane. Any other comments on? I know we talked last week and it didn't get picked up, but Dwight Howard to the Celtics. Are you for or against that?
Right now, I'll probably say against.
Against it, yeah. Me too.
I feel like they're starting to whore him out there. Like, hey, let someone take him. Because, Bickerstaff came out and said it's a broken team, blah, blah, blah.
And he's the head coach.
He's the head coach. Yeah.
Coming out and saying the Houston Rockets, his team.
Yeah, is a broken team.
And then you had Jason Terry come out and say, we don't like each other.
Yeah.
The players don't like each other.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good.
Now, do you flip it the other way and say if they're calling? So there was a story today was the Rockets are now calling teams saying, "Hey, Dwight's available."
Yeah.
What if you can get him really, really cheap?
If you take David Lee for Dwight Howard,
You do it in a heartbeat
sign me up.
because you're not breaking anything up.
Yeah, and then if he's that bad of
Then he's gonna opt out anyways.
if he's that bad of an
Yeah.
apple in the locker room, send him home.
Yeah.
We talked about Kevin Durant for Blake Griffin this offseason.
Yep.
So it would be essentially a sign and trade.
Yep.
Durant going to the Clippers, Blake Griffin going to the Thunder. You think that could happen or what?
I was reading that the Nuggets want Blake Griffin.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if the Nuggets have enough good players to get Blake Griffin.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think who. Dano or Dino, what's his name?
Gallinari.
Gallinari. He's always coming up with the Celtics, which
Yeah.
Ainge is like fixated on that guy.
Ainge gets fixated on these guys.
Yeah.
Cousins, Gallinari.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then obviously there was a rumor for a little while about Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors, signing there. Again, I don't. The cap
But I thought that was
space-
more of a off-season thing. No,
that is an off-season thing. That would be an off-season Durant, Golden State, because we talked about Durant has a really close.
If you're Golden State, and you're sitting there right now, do you even bother calling anyone about any you're rolling at 48-4? You know what I'm saying? Good teams still call teams to see, hey, what's
maybe you call the Celtics about David Lee.
But you know what I'm saying? Do they sit there and say it's tough for us to find a weakness? Why should we?
Yeah.
Or you always have we're always looking to get better.
I'm sure that's what they'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always looking to improve the team, but we're on pace to break the wins record.
Yeah.
So
By the way,
I
we're on
think
pace to win 75 out of 82 games.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be making. If anything, I'm trying to think their bench. I
was reading something today, and they said the only weakness with the Warriors is that they turn the ball over a lot. And I remember when they played the Celtics, they turned the ball over a ton that game, and I think that's what kept the Celtics in that game.
I think when you play the style of basketball they play.
Well, the other thing is there's everyone. I was reading this metrics thing on them is. Everyone looks at them and they're giving up 105, 107 points. They're like, well, their defense isn't very good. Well, there's so many more possessions that their defense is actually pretty good. They're just scoring so quick. The other team has so many more possessions.
Yeah. What's funny, too, is I say you bring Dwight Howard to the Celtics, I feel like he would disrupt the chemistry and cause some problems.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Golden State's too strong to let that happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I could almost see Dwight Howard going to the Warriors, sitting on the bench and not making a peep.
Yeah.
Because you'd have Draymond Green, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You'd have AI.
And you have that where they say, hey, look, we've already done it without you. So if you're not going to be part of this,
jump on board
or we're going to do it without you again.
Yeah, if you want to get paid next season, opt out, get a big contract again. Kind of shut up and do your thing. So we talked hockey last week, too. I think we even might have opened with hockey. The Dennis Weidman hit, nothing's really come of it.
I was going to say, do you have any update? I haven't heard
there's
anything
no update.
yet.
So my whole take on the thing was I don't think it was as blatantly obvious as everyone else thought it was. So Dennis Weidman skating off the ice, hits a referee in the back, essentially cross-checks him in the back. The ref goes down to the ice. He stayed in the game. No penalty, no nothing. After the game, or a day or two later, he gets suspended indefinitely. And as we went to air last week, he 20 games.
20 games, yep.
And his side came out and said, Weidman ended up coming out and saying he was concussed.
Is he appealing it?
I don't even know. I haven't heard any updates, which I should have checked.
I guess the question is, so he's not playing then right now.
Let's assume he's not playing. But he came out and said he was concussed.
Yeah.
And he took a big hit earlier in the game and didn't take any test or passed the test.
No one, yeah.
I don't think he told anyone, but no one really forced the issue. So I brought up to you the whole concussion thing, and is this going to get nasty and dirty? Players
saying teams are forcing us to play with concussions.
Yeah. And then I guess nothing's happened of it. Maybe they're sweeping it under the rug, but there's also, while we're on the topic of concussions, Daniel Bryan, wrestler. Did you hear anything about that?
I read a little bit about it.
WWE just flat out wouldn't let him wrestle, and he's been out of action since I think April of last year.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're not wrestling.
Yeah.
You're not. He ran some tests, did this and that. The doctor said no. He asked to be released so he could go wrestle for other organizations.
Yeah.
And they denied him the release. And they finally went and did another test.
Yeah.
And it finally hit him that, no, you're done.
Yeah.
And he actually came out and said he's having seizures after matches, and he wasn't telling anybody.
Is it just a severe, has he just had multiple concussions?
He said within the first 5 months of his career, he had 3 concussions. And when you work the independent scenes before you get to the WWE, I mean, you're wrestling in a high school gymnasium, and then when your match is over, you walk back to the curtain, get changed, and drive home, or drive to your next spot. So there aren't medical doctors really. So you probably. But anyways, WWE gave him the end of the show the other night. He essentially retired.
Yep.
I thought it was done well, but I part of the wrestling fan in me is waiting for that guy to come down the aisle and drop kick him,
Yeah.
and then set up a match for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was actually all legit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting with WWE because it's always something. It's wrestling, it's planned, but it's still entertainment. But it's sports. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I consider these guys athletes. But I don't know, are they trying to send a message with like having him come out and be so open and public about it? Because it wasn't like they were trying to sweep it under the rug like maybe hockey does or the NFL did.
Do you
for
think
all
maybe
those
they were
years.
coming out and saying, hey, yeah, we're going to be the sport that acknowledges that it's a problem?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think so, but then people go like, yeah, you're professional wrestling, so no one really cares.
Let's see someone get pounded into the ground.
But I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. And I know you have, so like there's different categories with professional sports.
Yep.
You have the performance-enhancing drugs,
Yep.
HGH, steroids, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You have concussions, right? Which are rampant in all sports: soccer, hockey, football, wrestling, baseball, whatever. And then we talked about gambling.
Yep.
So Joseph Randle recently, he got released by the Cowboys this season.
Correct.
I think it was for stealing something.
Yes.
Just a sketchy
Yeah.
pass, and they finally released him and said,
He was stealing like underwear, wasn't he? Yeah.
He was. Something weird. And but he came out, or a report came out and said that he was gambling.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones came out, and I don't believe anything that guy says, but he adamantly denied that it was on the games Randall was playing in. But I posed a question to you, like we got performance-enhancing drugs, we have concussions. Like, is the next cycle to go around? Is it gambling? You got DraftKings and like the whole DraftKings and what's the other draw? FanDuel. New York shutting everything down.
Yep.
And do you think that's gonna be the next?
I'll tell you what,
big
I
thing?
don't know, but I've been amazed at the people that I've learned that gamble on sports that I had no idea.
Like who?
Like just
personal
random,
friends?
people
Yeah.
I know. Like, had 200 on the Broncos or whatever. And I'm like, oh,
I don't even know where to go.
yeah,
to
that's
do
what I'm
that.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you do that? And like I've heard some people that I know that I've heard rumors that they're bookies and
No kidding.
yeah, and it's like I just didn't know it was as rampant as it was. Like
You don't even do fantasy baseball
no,
or football anymore.
no, but not that I would like to. I like that stuff, but I couldn't watch a game that way. No, it's not necessarily like like with the line. So a field goal here, a touchdown here, it changes everything. It's just, but to your point, I've been amazed at some of the people I've learned, and they're not. I don't think they're heavy gamblers, but just someone that's not afraid to put 150 on a game, and hope they win 400.
The crazy part to me is you put out you make bets every weekend for football, college football, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you win, you don't get that money. You just keep it open.
Yeah.
So you'll be up $1,000, but then the next weekend you
You're
could
down.
lose
Yeah.
800, and then you only have 200.
Yeah.
Then you lose another 300, so you're down 100.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it would drive me bananas. The whole Pete Rose thing.
Yep.
He applied for reinstatement. He didn't get it. And as far as I know, and maybe you know more about it than I do, nobody's ever come out, or he's never come out and named names, right?
No.
Because it couldn't. There's no way he was doing it
Yeah.
without anybody else knowing.
Yeah.
Whether it was teammates, umpires,
Yep.
front office people, other people had to know.
Yeah.
And as much of a scumbag as people think Pete Rose is,
Someone was there to help him.
yeah, someone was there to help him, but he's never named names.
Yeah.
And I thought with the reinstatement, I'm curious to see. Like, I just have this little story or vision in my head
Yeah.
of Pete Rose sitting down with Manfred
Yeah.
and saying, hey, listen, if you don't reinstate me, I'm going to start talking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to name names, and I've got proof. And Manfred going, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Calling his bluff. And I just wonder if it's like that unwritten rule in sports.
That you don't. Yeah.
Like, as much of a dirtbag as people may think he is, you're with these guys. I don't care what, even college baseball. I mean, you're with your teammates, more than with your family. You're on road trips, and I wonder if it's like If I don't know, I don't even know what my point is. I guess I'm trying to tie the gambling and Pete Rose in together, and then, you know.
Well, it's tough to do it just with one person at that high level, to gamble. You have some little insight. Hey, so-and-so's a little more hurt than we think, or so-and-so's good to go, and he's kind of not faking an injury, but they're talking it up a little bit.
Or even, you tell me Pete Rose is the only one gambling?
Yeah.
Like, it's, how do you know, Mike Schmidt wasn't gambling, or I don't know, Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, and we talked about this as well in the past, was the whole A-Rod thing. Or excuse me, the whole A-Rod thing. Totally spaced out. He was on the pregame show in the World Series with Fox Sports.
Yep.
And Pete Rose being allowed to be that close.
Yep.
To the action, like on the field for pregame and postgame coverage, and he's in the stadium, and the MLB is allowing him to be put in a position where he now could sniff around and see who's yelling and who's available, who's really not available, and then go call his bookie and bet and I don't know, concussions, HGH, PEDs. Gambling, I think, is the next shoe to drop.
I almost feel like PEDs are. I think people are over PEDs.
Do you think people are just under the assumption, whether it's right or wrong, that all professional athletes take some type of PEDs?
Probably.
Like, I feel like because I know I do. I look at it now.
You take PEDs?
Do I take PEDs?
The way you were going, you're like, I know I do.
No. I mean, I again, like gambling, I don't even know where I would get them.
Yeah.
But I look at it as though I assume that I am convinced that every pro athlete that leads the league in home runs, rushing touchdowns, passing touchdowns.
Yep.
I assume they're on something.
Yeah.
I do. Josh Donaldson, Jose Batista, Chris Davis. Come on.
Guy's got a blockhead.
Come on, man. Like, it's like when you're I think PEDs is what separates you from the Lou Merlonis of the world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do. LeBron James, I think all these guys get help some way, somehow.
Yeah.
And a couple things, right? I think mentally it gives you an edge.
Yeah.
Almost the placebo effect, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Like, you're obviously taking something, but you're taking, like, you see these guys fall off sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they stop doing it, and it's the mental thing.
Yeah.
They can't get over the fact that they don't feel as strong.
Yeah.
But I also feel like these guys do it for so long that it becomes second nature and not an issue for them.
Yeah.
And they don't even think twice about it. Like, I'm just using his name, LeBron, as an example. Maybe he started right out of high school, and he's been doing it for the last 10 years. And to him, it's just part of his daily routine.
Yep.
So to him, it's not out of the ordinary. It's not a big deal. And then he knows that, maybe so-and-so's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's how he justifies it. And I just think that, I'm sorry. You work out, you can jump so high.
Yeah.
But I think the one guy who might not be on it is Steph Curry.
Really? Kevin
All
Durant.
right.
Kevin Durant's like 140 pounds.
But then you look at Kevin Durant with the injury too, right? Even though it's a foot, you always got to be suspect of guys coming off of an injury. That's why the Peyton Manning thing, I think, was so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
The guy misses a whole year with neck surgery, right?
And I had forgotten they hadn't tested for HGH then.
Don't test for HGH. He misses an entire football season. Comes back with a new team.
Yeah.
New system.
And he's
he
better
throws
than ever.
7 touchdowns in his first game. That's insane, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't his first game.
I think that was his second year. But
Second
anyways,
year.
it's
Whatever.
right after.
Work with me, Kruger.
Yeah.
But I just that kind of goes against everything I was just saying. But I don't know. I think, but then the other thing too is, like, I don't know why we got on this rant, but the baseball, a guy gets caught with PEDs.
Yeah.
And the world's on fire, blow it up. Got to clean the game up. And then football, it's like it's almost
it's okay. It's such a physical game anyway.
yeah,
so.
it's weird. It's interesting to me. We're running close to 60 minutes. Well, we got 10 minutes, but it'll go by quick. I have a lot of other notes on here. Anything you wanted to cover? Anything specifically
Let's
about?
go through the notes. We'll get off topic somehow.
Johnny Manziel drama. We can talk about that for a little bit.
That's gotten a lot worse
That's
since last time.
escalated a lot.
Yeah.
He allegedly, beat up his girlfriend. Says he's going to kill her and himself, or kill himself. His dad comes out and says he's nervous the kid's not gonna live to see his 24th birthday. So we talked about this, right? Like he grew up in money.
Absolutely. Big
So
money.
this isn't a kid who signed an NFL deal and went crazy.
Yep.
This is a kid who has a track record of in college, as clear as day.
Yeah.
Like to party, like to have a good time, which you're in college. You have the right to do that. I think maybe when you're a college athlete, a student athlete,
Yep.
and you're possibly going to go play it professionally, I think you have a responsibility to tone it down a little.
Yeah.
Because you're not like everyone else.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But anyways, it's not like he just woke up one day and went crazy. Like,
Yeah.
he's always been crazy. He's always had money. He's always been able to get away with whatever he wanted to, because people would look the other way. And I think it's just finally catching up to him where, he's in a position where he's not the best person at his job. He's not he's not making the most money.
Yeah.
And I just think that people are tired of his crap.
I was actually reading something that Texas A&M, for whatever reason, has had like 3 or 4 quarterbacks transfer out of there.
Really?
In the last, pretty much since Manziel's been gone. And one of them came out and said, yeah, it was mostly because of the atmosphere that Johnny Manziel created is still there. And
Really?
It's not a good atmosphere.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Whether it be the partying or just made it sound like just, hey, if you want to come and practice, great. If not, don't. And when you're the Heisman Trophy winner, they're not going to bench you.
Yeah.
I think he got benched a couple times for like a quarter or like the first drive.
Yeah, set up the first.
Yeah, and you're
offensive drive.
playing like Sam Houston State, so you're going to beat the crap out of him anyways.
So that's the thing is he won the Heisman, right?
Yep.
But he's playing for Texas A&M.
Yep.
Before Texas A&M, really, like he kind of helped put them on the map.
Yeah, but they really weren't that great when he was.
But they played a weak schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at as though he plays for Texas A&M. They're playing whatever Sam Houston, Mountain State.
Yeah.
And they're beating teams by 35 points. And it just use the eye test. The crap this kid's doing off the field, the type of offense they're running.
Yeah.
The history of Heisman Trophy winners not always translating.
Nope.
Tim Tebow,
Yep.
for instance. I wasn't surprised when he didn't get picked to like the 20-something pick.
Yeah.
And everybody else, and it's stupid ESPN playing up the drama. But you just knew before this kid stepped foot in the NFL that he was going to be like a disaster.
Yeah.
Like this shouldn't be, now it's unfortunate that he's saying he's going to kill himself and his dad's coming out. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised. This kid comes from a lot of money. He's never been told no. And he's having a really hard time becoming an adult.
Extremely hard time.
And it's not going to end well for this kid. I don't know.
Well, now
I just don't
you'd
think he's a good
imagine
quarterback.
now you'd imagine no one's going to touch him.
Do you like?
If you're just going to go out there and suck, and they say, all right, you know what? Well, it didn't work out. Let's give him another shot. Okay, but now you have all this baggage.
Well,
like he's mentally unstable.
Right. So maybe you're the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
And you just bring him in to sit him on the bench, but to keep an eye on him and help him get his shit together. But I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think he's a good dude.
I think he's a bad person.
He's a bad apple, and I think that because of that, teams aren't going to – he's not going to – like you said, nobody's going to take a chance, as opposed to being a good guy that screwed up once. Okay, come on in.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. And I just I don't know.
Wouldn't you, if you're an NFL team investing a high draft pick, wouldn't you interview teammates, even coach, even just off the field friends, find a way to get to them?
How about the head coach who just got fired?
Yeah,
what does he?
What are you? what do you think of Johnny?
Yeah.
As a human being. And you know what? He's a shithead. Yeah. You know, he's an a-hole.
But see, here's the thing now. He's a shithole. He's a shithead. He's a shithole, an a-head.
Yeah.
But now it's like, but it used to be Buddy's a good player.
Yeah.
He's helping us win games. Now it's like he's a dickhead. He's an asshole.
And he sucks.
Yeah. So it's like, why?
Yeah, what's the point?
And I always have a problem with that too. Like I'm sorry. Like I think the Browns gave him more than 1 or 2, 3 chances. Like I think he used up all his 9 lives with the Browns. But I
think he's gotten like 4 or 5 chances just this year. You know.
So I'm big on. There's somebody else out there.
Yeah.
Who's knocking on the door. You know. Whether it's a backup on another team or a third-string quarterback who just wants or needs that chance, right? And I feel like, unfortunately, the Ryan Malletts of the world, the Johnny Manziels of the world, even the Tim Tebow to a certain extent, just from skills-wise, the teams hold on to them because of they've been on a different team, and I feel like I'd rather give some guy a new guy a chance.
Just to give him just a guy that you know will show up every day, work his ass off. I mean, the way you got to look at it, he can't be any worse.
Yeah.
If he goes out there and sucks, he can't be any worse. But at least he's not, at least you know he's going to show up every day. He's not going to go out and threaten to kill someone. Keeps his mouth shut, sits in the meeting room,
Yeah. Yeah, that's really all I got, I guess, from my end. Any last words you want to add?
Creeping towards spring training next Thursday.
We didn't even talk baseball. We
Yeah.
talked a little baseball. Are you on Instagram yet?
No.
You got to go on Instagram and just follow Barry Bonds.
Okay.
And A-Rod.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Those guys they crack me up. Barry Bonds the other day posted a picture. It was like a carry-on bag with a little dog in it. It's gotten to that point where he's gotten like so soft that you got to check it out. And then A-Rod posted a picture of himself painting. I think yesterday or today.
Yeah.
Just
painting.
Like he was went to see somebody and they painted a picture. Anyways, these guys got to fire their PR people. If you're famous or a professional athlete, and you want to go on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
Hire somebody. But somebody not dumb.
I always wonder with
So
these
stupid.
professional teams, who runs their Twitter account? Is Robert Kraft tweeting under
No.
the Patriots thing? Is that a full-time job where you just tweet for the?
Yeah,
Who does it?
I think kids people out of college.
Yeah,
That's
that's a pretty it's not an important job, but at the same time it is because there's millions of Twitter followers.
Yeah. Yeah, baseball is baseball. So Truck Day was the other day. I've seen some pictures. I think Mookie Betts is down there. David Price is down there.
Pretty much everyone, I think, is kind of moseyed their way down.
All right. Brief answer. Sox. You're excited, right?
Yes. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. We're done. No. Let's just talk. We're going to talk a lot of baseball coming up in future podcasts. But just to end this podcast, what's your biggest concern?
Depth of the rotation.
The starting rotation.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because you've got David Price as your ace.
Yep, he's your no doubt ace, which is great.
And then don't even try to put the rest of the rotation in order. But you have Porcello.
Yep.
Buchholz.
Yep.
Eddie Rodriguez.
Yep. Joe Kelly.
You need them to step up, and you need David Price.
You got those 4 guys. I have the most faith in Eddie Rodriguez.
Do you really?
And I put, who I put 2 is probably Rick Porcello.
See, I think Porcello's going to have.
And the
he's going to be a John Lackey.
The reason why I give it to Porcello is he's going to take the ball every 5th day.
Yes.
Buchholz is going to be hurt sometime. So it's February 11th. Probably by about March 1, something's going to creep up on him.
His elbow still.
Yeah.
You know what will happen with Buchholz is he'll say his injury from last year.
Did you remember that quote I sent you?
I just started.
I started working first off season. I did legs 5 days a week. Are you how does not anyone get to him and be like, hey man, you need to really work on your lower half?
Schilling hinted at it with him how he's not a guy who puts in the time.
Yeah.
He's got all the skill in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe natural talent, if you want to say, but he just
Lou Merlone was on, and actually after this quote, he was on Comcast, and he goes, one day I asked Theo Epstein, like this was when Clay had just started to come out, like right after he threw his no-hitter, and he goes, legitimately, what do you see him doing? And Theo goes, I see him as a Rich Harden type, meaning that you've got to get the most out of those innings because you know he's not going to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a guy that's going to go out there every year at 200 innings. So you've got to maximize the 100 to 150 that you're going to get. And you really look at, in the year that they did, 2013, they won the World Series. Every other year, he's been unproductive in those 100 to 150 innings.
We talked about it in the past, too.
But he's going to get a ton of money in the next offseason.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. What if he's like a bulldog this year and just plays through pain? And
I would have just let him go. But,
yeah.
I would have cut ties with Clay. But you're looking at it's going to be an interesting spring training. It's going to be an interesting season. You don't necessarily need the Schilling-Pedro, Schilling-Randy Johnson duo to win a World Series anymore. The Royals have proved that.
Yep.
Even the Giants have proved that.
If you look at the Giants 2 years ago after Madison Bumgarner, they were borderline terrible.
Like Jake Peavy was your game
They're
2
like
starter.
Bumgarner's ERA was like below 1, and the rest were like pushing 7.
Yeah. So do you? I'm big on you're strong up the middle.
Yep.
You're just defensively, you're fundamentally sound.
Yep.
You catch and you throw.
You make the routine play 100% of the time.
Outfield, I think this outfield will be maybe arguably the best outfield in baseball. I really like KC with Gordon and Kane left center, and whoever Rios if he's still there and right. I think Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. and you kind of tuck away Castillo and left.
Yeah.
I really think they're gonna cover a ton of ground, and I think when I'm looking at it from a pitcher's point of view.
Yep.
When you know you have good defensive players behind you, you pitch differently.
Yeah.
You're not trying to strike everybody out. You're pitching to contact.
Yep.
You're trusting your stuff more. You know that you're gonna. I'll never forget my first real go around with Winnick.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it was, but they hit a pretty hard ground ball.
Yeah.
And I didn't even turn around, and I said, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And Jacobs was there.
Yeah.
Made the play, and it was out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would have been a double at Doherty.
Yeah.
That would have been a double at high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got guys who can play defense behind me. And I just think that changes your mindset as a pitcher. So the outfield's good. Move to the infield. I need more from Pablo, and I am so nervous about Hanley at first.
I've kind of talked myself off the ledge on Hanley.
Yeah. I'll talk you back on.
I have some faith that he's going to hit enough to make it okay. Make it okay. You heard it here first. I think we're going to, when we're doing a podcast mid to late August, we're going to be talking about Xander Bogaerts in the MVP race.
Okay.
Pedroia is going to be fine. It's just if he stays healthy. Yeah. Pablo, if you were to one really big concern, no pun intended, that's my concern.
His weight?
No, just Pablo in general. Just is he going to be productive? You
free agents who sign big contracts.
Yeah.
They either have really good first years with their team, or they suck and they're confused and they make an ass out of themselves.
So here's my thing with Hanley. So Hanley got off to a good start last year. Yeah. So it's that and then Hanley, at least he looks like, like that winter week he was there. Like Pablo wasn't there. Like I don't have a good feeling about Pablo Sandoval.
All right, let's say
the Panda stuff is worn off. I think one of the big things that everyone's underestimating is how good the bullpen is. I think the bullpen's going to be outstanding.
The bullpen's going to be their strengths right now.
Yeah.
Outfield,
bullpen.
and bullpen.
Their bullpen's going to be
ace,
outstanding.
Right. Well, I'd say David Price, your bullpen. I keep forgetting about Kimbrel.
Yep.
And I think at least right in center, and I will put Castillo. He improved, I thought, a lot.
Yeah.
He came up last year and it was like, oh my God, this guy.
He was dropping fly balls.
Yeah, but I thought he got better.
And you're gonna put him in left. You need him to hit. He's just got to make the routine play.
All right. We're over our 60-minute mark. Good
We
talk.
could do another 60 just on spring training.
I know. We'll predictions coming soon.
Oh, man.
Special
We got to let a
edition.
couple games go on. Someone's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen.
All right, Krugs, I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.
See ya.